Welcome everyone, episode 14. I finally found out a name for this show. I'm going to call it Armchair Booking. I was watching an old interview off of... I forget what the hell it was, actually. I was just watching a bunch of old interviews from maybe 6 months ago. And somebody brought it up in the middle of an interview and it sounded perfect, so... Armchair Booking. Anyway, tonight's topic is going to be... the Eric Bischoff interview on TVTraX. That's the name of the account on YouTube, TVTraX. Apparently, it's a wrestling interview dirt sheet type of channel. It goes off of a bunch of radio interviews. This one specifically has been coming up recently only because of the Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy whole spiel that's been going on. For a couple of reasons, though. First of all, I've seen a bunch of other shows trying to cover it, and they keep saying that Kurt got in a DUI. He did not get DUI, he got a DUI. Driving under impairment. That's for non-prescribed drugs and or medication. A DUI is driving under altered impairment, which falls under prescribed medication, and a DWI, of course, is driving while intoxicated. This has been about of some controversy on a bunch of different shows on YouTube and a bunch of different reports on a couple of different websites, only because everybody keeps comparing him to a couple of other guys in the past few years who have gotten DWIs. You have to understand, people in this business also have several shows and TV tapings to do every week, and that they have to go from town to town to town, city to city. Half the time, they have painkillers in them regardless, because you take a bad bump, you fall on the outside, you take a wrong hit, and you're going to be in pain. And these guys have to wrestle through it 300 plus days a year. I'm not saying it's right, but there is a major difference from driving intoxicated and driving full of painkillers. You can still drive on painkillers, you just can't drive on so much that it's going to impair your ability to actually drive. Going off of that is the whole spiel now with the double standard of Matt Hardy being released from TNA because of his DWI, and Kurt Angle, I believe this is his third with TNA, and I believe he had one with WWF a while ago, like maybe 3 years after he first debuted over there. Eric Bischoff claims the only reason that they're not doing anything against Kurt Angle is because he doesn't have a track record, but he obviously does. And he's one of their bigger stars right now, and they can't afford to lose him. They can afford to give for Matt Hardy only because he's a mid-card guy, even though he's been brought into Immortal, even though he's Jeff Hardy's brother. The one thing I found really fucked up, though, was the reasoning behind letting Matt Hardy go from Eric Bischoff was specifically he had a list of things that happened with him in the company before his whole DWI that supposedly, quote, broke the straw on the camel's back. I will put a link under this episode so you guys can check it out for yourselves, but the way he made it sound is he was pushing off a bunch of things that Jeff Hardy did. I personally think Matt Hardy got let go only because Eric was using Matt Hardy to teach Jeff Hardy a lesson, because obviously Jeff Hardy is a bigger star than Matt. Jeff is finally making his comeback, and he wanted to show Jeff that he means business, and he wants to make his fucking money, and by doing that, he releases it his brother, and he tells him straight out, you keep fucking around, the same thing's gonna happen to you. That's the impression I got off of this interview. If you feel different, feel free to comment. One other thing I'm going to bring up also, I believe No Surrender is coming up September 11th. And for some strange reason, it was also brought up on this interview that they didn't think of doing anything for the armed forces in attendance or even on the pay-per-view taping for September 11th. I feel it's kind of fucked up. I feel that is all Eric Bischoff's fault because he says he's part of creative now, and that's common sense. Like, this happened 10 years ago. So it's not like this happened like fucking 50 to 75 years ago, and it's I understand it's not a national holiday, but it's a very important day in our country's history. They should definitely be doing something about it, especially with guys like, even though he's under this recent controversy right now, Kurt Angle, Jesse Neal, he's a former Navy and Coast Guard serviceman. I believe Crimson served in the Army. A couple of other guys also. But I feel they should do something special at least, because, you know, it's the 10-year anniversary of it, and they really deserve it. One other thing I'm going to bring up. I understand that Matt Hardy had a video up of his apparent suicide attempt, which really was not a suicide attempt. It was the killing of his career. I don't think he's going to be actually wrestling anymore anyway. The only gigs I've seen on a couple of different websites that he is taking is just for current cash right now that he needs to support himself. I don't think he's going to be doing this as a career anymore. I think he's pretty much given up on it. So I'm not really too worried off about him, because when you go into that type of state of mind where you're going to get behind a wheel drunk and potentially endanger somebody else's life, the last thing you need to be thinking about is your career and trying to build yourself up again. And he did some very stupid decisions, so hopefully he gets his head on straight and he gets back into the game. Life in general, I don't really look forward to seeing him making a comeback to professional wrestling, because he's pretty much buried himself. Jeff Hardy, on the other hand, I'm really not looking forward to, only because he has a track record. And, you know, eventually he's going to fuck up again. He fucked up a couple of times in WWF. This is his first major time fucking up in TNA. He's making his comeback now. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's actually going to last. Take care. Subscribe. Spread this around. I want to get some more viewers. I'm shooting for 50 viewers before Halloween. I know it's not a really big, you know, goal or anything, but 50 viewers, I don't think it's too much to ask. I think you guys have been very loyal to me, and obviously you feel something about my opinion is okay. So let's get this spread around, put it up on other people's Facebooks, spread it around on YouTube, tweet it, do what you gotta do. My account on here is Irish Hulk 187, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Enjoy and have a good evening. Find the stop button here too. Oh.